Hello, my name is Colleen Nelson. I am a student nurse practitioner at St. Kate's University, and I am performing my musculoskeletal and neurologic motor assessment. Hi Ben, I'm Colleen. I am going to be your student nurse practitioner today. I am going to be performing your musculoskeletal and neurologic motor assessment on you. So I am going to be doing some just visual inspection. I'm going to be palpating some of your muscles and joints, and then I'm also going to be checking your range of motion, and then have you kind of moving different things. We're going to do a strength test on you. I'll check your spine, and then at the very end I'm going to assess your gait and have you kind of walk back and forth for me. I will let you know and tell you what I'm doing as I'm going, and if anything makes you uncomfortable or you want me to stop at any point, just let me know. Do I have your consent to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to start with just doing an inspection of all of your muscles as well as all of your joints. I'm going to have you just put your arms to your sides here. Just making sure I can see it on the camera. So I'm going to start with an inspection starting with upper body all the way down. Can you uncross your legs for me? And then I'm visually inspecting for any deformities here. I'm looking to make sure that everything is symmetrical from side to side. Now that I have done my visual inspection, I'm going to start with palpating. So I'm starting up here on your top. I'm moving down here through your upper body, just assessing all of your joints, all of your muscles here. Your fingers. I'm going to move down to your hips, your great trochlears here, just moving down through your knees, all the way down here. Okay, so next, after palpation, I am going to be inspecting your range of motion, okay? So I am going to start with your lower body here. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to bring your leg all the way up to your chest here. Okay, perfect. And then I'm also going to have you flex your toes down and up, and you can put your leg back down again. And then I'm going to have you move your feet up and then back down here. And then I'm also going to check internal and external rotation. So I'm going to have you move them over to the side and then back out again. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'll have you bring this one up to your chest. Okay, and then move your toes pointing down and back up. Okay, and on this side, we're going to check internal and external rotation of your hips. So move them to the side and move them over. Kind of hard on the couch. Okay, back down. And then I'll have you flex your toes for me up and down. And then internal and external rotations, so move them over to the side. Perfect. And then just to check internal and external rotation on this leg, I'll have you bring it up to your chest again, and then move it in towards your body and out towards your body. All right, perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to have you kind of sit up at the end here. Okay, yep, just move to the side here and make sure you can see you on the camera. All right, so we're going to kind of do the same thing here, and just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to kind of bend down so that you can see me and you can see him in the video. We're going to start by checking your deltoids here and your shoulders. So I'm going to kind of have you put your arms up and back for me. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to have you bring them back down, kind of behind your back like that. All right, perfect. And then I am going to have you put your arms out and then up and down, and then move them in and out. Okay, and then we're going to check your wrists too. So I'm going to have you put your arms up and down. Okay, and then wrists up and then down, and then flip them, And do the same thing on the other sides here. Yep, and put them down. All right, perfect. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check your muscle strength. So I'm going to start up with your deltoids here. I want you to shrug your shoulders up. And I'm going to push down and don't let me push them down. And then as we're doing this, we're checking for any symmetry and I'm grading them out of 5. So I would be grading them as symmetrical +5. And then we're going to check your biceps here. So flex your biceps and don't let me pull your arms down. Just want to make sure you can see this on camera here. Okay, and then moving down to your triceps here. So don't let me push, you're going to push up as I'm pushing down here. Okay, and then your wrists, I want you to make a fist here. Okay, and then push those. Okay, and just because I missed it earlier in the video for checking range of motion, I want you to touch all of your fingers to your thumb. All right, perfect. And then one at a time here, I want you to lift up your leg and I'm going to check the strength of your thighs here. So you can lift up as I push down. Perfect. Same thing over on this side. Okay. And then I want you to push forward as I'm pulling, or sorry, push backward as I'm pulling forward. Check the strength of your calf muscles. Backwards. Nope, you are pulling in as I'm pulling out. Yep. Okay, and I am once again grading all of these for symmetry and strength. So all of these so far has been a +5 here in symmetrical. And then your feet. Sorry. All right, so push up as I'm pushing down. All right, perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check your spine here. So I'm actually going to have you stand up for this. And I'm going to do a visual assessment and palpation of your spine, checking for any scoliosis, making sure that it's symmetrical and that it's straight. I'm going to have you bend forward and fold forward. Doing the same thing here, checking for curvature, making sure that the line is nice and straight. Right, I'm going to have you stand up. And then I'm going to have you turn side to side as I check range of motion here. Okay, and then kind of go backwards, and we already saw you go forward. And then I'll have you place one leg up as you are moving your hips forward. Yep, so move your hips forward here and backwards. Okay, perfect. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assess your gait. So I'm going to have you walk towards the camera on the heels of your toes, and I want you to walk back to me on your tiptoes. All right, and turn around. And on your tiptoes here. All right, perfect. That concludes our video assessment.